Hello and welcome to a brand new video. Today we are playing Zelda Twilight Princess once again, this time entering the Forest Temple for real this time and trying to make a lot of progress with it. Today we're joined by Noah. Let me just grab the microphone out of my...
What up, guys? I'm really far away.
We only have one microphone, so we're just going to make it work, and he'll be muffled the entire time, but hopefully you can understand a few words that he says, because I only have one microphone. Yeah, I'll make sure to repeat it. Whenever I did the first recording, I could like barely hear you, but if I listened for you, I could hear you, so we'll make it work. Sorry if the MacBook comes into the audio. I tried my best to limit the power I'm using from the MacBook. I closed every single application, and the only thing running right now is my microphone, the game audio, and OBS recording this. So hopefully it's not terrible. It's the only laptop we own that I can use, so that's all we got. Might buy a laptop if I make enough money from YouTube. Haha, I don't make any money. Oh, we got a chest over here. Is it the map? Oh my god, it's the map. Once again, one of my Let's Plays had the audio screwed up, so I'm going to be dubbing over the rest of this Let's Play episode because I saved my progress, so if I were to do this again, it wouldn't be possible. I don't even know what I'd have to do, but I'm not even going to try that option. What I'm going to do instead is maybe an easier option is dub over the rest of this episode. As you could probably tell, the audio started repeating itself, and that is because the microphone on my headphones was picking up the game audio, while OBS was also picking up the game audio natively. So yeah, we got bad guy Monkey here with his evil boomerang, slapping his butt at us. Very disrespectful. So now that the bridge is broke, we're gonna have to try and find a way across. This rubs me the wrong way. I know this is gonna turn out terrible, but maybe I can just have a slightly Zelda related discussion during this video instead of completely focusing on the video, because I think that would be. Oh, my bad. Apologize for that. Um, I'm a very professional YouTuber, as you can tell. 200 subscribers. All right, so Monkey wants us to go. What is that? West? Yeah, west. So I'm gonna go over there, and I keep screwing it up because OBS caused a delay, which I'm gonna cut this here soon. But OBS caused a delay where everything was just slightly off, so I had to sort of factor that into my button presses with timing and certain things. So yeah, I failed this jump a couple more times. So I guess another thing I'm going to have to address is the lag component of OBS and maybe research on how people dealt with that with MacBooks. But moving on, we got this bomb introduced. I'm going to try and pick it up, but the controls in this game are terrible, and oh, I actually do make it work. Look at that. I think there are some portions later on that I don't pull that off quite as smoothly. Oh well. Yeah, I haven't made videos very recently, if you haven't noticed. I know practically no one in the entire world listens to these Let's Plays. Hopefully my computer's audio isn't being picked up, but it lacks the capability of being quiet. So I knew I should have gotten a laptop. Oh well. I don't really have money for that though, so can't really fix that right now. Maybe Christmas. Yeah, so I haven't been recording a lot, as you obviously can tell if you looked at the video list on the channel. It's been empty for a little bit, and I hoping to make at least one or two more vlogs, and continue this Let's Play a little more, and then maybe do a another car video focusing on the Honda Odyssey, and that's about my plan for 2020. Because I got a life, I'm busy. That's why I took I think, yeah, it was over a year off of YouTube because I was just doing things. Because YouTube was always, and I'm sure I've talked about this in some of my recent vlogs, but YouTube was always just a way for me to pass the time and express my creativity. It's never going to be a job, and it's never going to be something that I commit to doing 3 or 4 episodes a week. I can't do that. Maybe when I was younger I could have, but being in college and dealing with your friends and families and meetings and clubs and all that, I don't have time for YouTube really. But I'm gonna try and make a bit more of a dedication to it, because I definitely could. I have enough free time to do so, but obviously not to the level that perhaps younger me would like. But I've uploaded way more videos than I did in 2020, so I have that going for me. So we're in this central room, which we really can't do much with. So we're going to go back outside, and the wind is going to shift that bridge back towards us. We're going to go back into the water room. I'm not sure why I went that direction. I guess I didn't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I had the key too. There wasn't a key in that room, was there? Why did I go that way? Maybe there was a key. I'm not really paying attention. There's one of our monkey friends. He's stuck in a cage, so gotta try and get him out here. Not sure who put him in the cage. I would assume it's that evil monkey. Ah, the bridge broke it. This temple is full of faulty bridges. Ganondorf's got to get on that. He's slacking. Ooh, I need a sweatshirt. It's cold in my room. I like it cold because I sleep warm, but if I'm not sleeping, it's very cold in here. Again, the rolling component of this game, and also OBS lag, is factoring into why I cannot hit this pole right now. Eventually, I will hit this pole. It might not seem like it. There we go. There we go. Finally got it. I swear I've played Zelda games before. Or maybe it was the Bokoblins that caged him up. That's what it seems like. I don't know how you get caged up by these fools. They're very easy to defeat. Trying out the finishing move. I think Noah made a comment on that, but Noah's not here currently, so he is effectively out of this episode. And was only there for the intro because I am not very good at screen capture. But I'm learning. It's a learning experience. So now that we have two monkeys, we're able to cross the bridge and get back over to the outside area. Again, with these jumps, I had to factor in the OBS lag, and really hope I can find a way to avoid that, because that'll get annoying if I continue this entire Let's Play with that. But man, I have been sitting on this footage for at least a month. And for anyone that does care about the series, I apologize, but I know most of you don't really care about much of a schedule on this channel, and that's perfectly fine. Honestly, for me, this channel has almost always been a me project. I've never really cared about the views. Obviously I'm uploading it to YouTube, so I do want to see people's reactions, but if I don't get them, it's just something to look back on in the future. Plus, I'm just playing a video game, so like, if I can screen capture it too while I'm at it, why not? Plus, I bought the frickin' screen capture device, so I better, make some use out of it instead of it just sitting on my shelf. Anybody listening to any good music recently? Random question. Put it in the comments below. What's your favorite artist right now? For me, it's Doja Cat. I'm slightly embarrassed to admit it, but she's a really good artist, and for a long time I kind of avoided listening to her stuff, but that was obviously a mistake because both of her two albums that she's released are actually really good, and I highly recommend it if you're into that sort of genre. I guess one of the benefits of recording this afterwards is I can kind of just gloss over parts of it because there's no audio, so you're really not getting much of the video game experience. But we went to the main room to access this one, and since we had a monkey or two monkeys, I think that's why we were able to get over here compared to before. And this freaking Deku plant re-stemmed itself, or planted itself again. Admittedly, I did kind of gloss over what I cut out, but I cut out about 5 minutes of this episode because it was literally just me fumbling around with the bomb mechanics in this temple. So, yeah, this is one of the mini bosses. I think in this episode I do face both of them that are in this temple. But we have the key there and this big Deku plant, and then yet another monkey caged behind a lock. So I'm low on hearts here. So I'm going to try and pick up another one. Missed it. Finally got one. And then I lock onto this Deku plant. Thing is huge. Just kind of flailing my sword around because it's motion controls. I don't remember Skyward Sword, but I feel like the motion controls in that were worse. Don't quote me on that though. For anybody listening, down in the comments, let me know which game I should cover next. Just kidding, I already have it planned. But this is literally going to take me a year to try and record. Oh, there's no way. Oh, I did get it. Look at me go. Boom. You ever have a rancid plant in your basement and it just starts eating your keys up? Just throw a bomb inside of it. That'll fix it right up. And if we can slowly... I don't know why the roll button is... The A button is way too utilized in this game. I mean, you have two buttons on the nunchuck. You have 4 directions on the D-pad. You have a B and an A button, and a 1 and a 2 button. And you decide, for some reason, Nintendo, that everything is going to be linked through the A button. I don't know why anyone signed off on that, because the roll button is the same as the pick up button. And there's so many other features you need to do baked into this one button. And it doesn't make the game terrible, but like just those weird, clunky, awkward moments that you see in this Let's Play are because of that feature. For those of you who have not played this game or even owned a Wii game, because I'm sure not all Wii games are like that, because people sometimes are actually smart, but for games like Zelda, I'm sure there are moments similar to rolling over a key multiple times when you're just trying to pick it up. But anyway, we, as you just saw, I don't know, I just kind of have to explain it because normally I would be. We're going to pick up this bomb. It looks like we might not have enough time, but maybe we do. And we do. So drop into that pad, and that plant blows up. There's a chest down there, so I'm going to check out what's in there. And we rescued yet another monkey. I think we're at 3 currently in this episode. So we're going to hike our way back down and see what is in the chest. And there's another bomb in there. Deku bomb? I'm not sure what they're called. Oh, that was a dumb decision. Got a piece of heart. So 3 more and we'll have a 4th heart container. So we're going back up here because we never went to the room to the right on that map in the lower left. But for some reason we're going this way, which I don't think is really going to do anything, just based off looking at the map, but I think I'm just checking it out. Because we have no way of moving the bridges currently, so... Yeah, that's a dead end, buddy. Well, I got to shave off another 4 minutes of this Let's Play because of the bomb mechanics, but eventually I did get into the room that was to the right of the room that we were just in, and yet another monkey locked behind a door. So I'm going to hop down here. I have 1 heart, so Link's going to be a little annoying right now. Knocked that chest down pretty easily. I think the physics of it falling look pretty funny. But Link is just wore out right now. I think it's just rupees. Oh no, it's a key. Yep, so that'll get us the monkey once we cross this bridge. I think I was hoping for a heart there. Did not get the heart. Because when you first start off in this game, it's super annoying. I like in Breath of the Wild where it like chimes for a little bit and then it stops, you know, just annoying the hell out of you. And I think it's an interesting mechanic, and I think it was in the original Zelda, which is cool and all, but like it gets pretty annoying early on in the game when you just don't have potions, you just don't have enough heart containers to avoid getting down to 1 heart. Once again, the mechanics, I decide to take a dive after figuring out part of this puzzle. And there we go. Staircase is complete. Now we can get up there. Cool little cutscene there. Ominous little spider on the top. I see him. I think there is something below the staircase. So eventually I do need to come back to this room, probably in the next episode, with hopefully working audio. Because editing this video is going to take, well, I think a similar amount of time to what I ordinarily would have to do. But hopefully I can get this video down to low 20s in runtime. That way I retain some sort of viewership. Because I know these bigger episodes are not very fond of people. I like watching Let's Plays like that, but obviously if you're not super interested in the series, you're not going to devote, 40, 50 minutes of your time to the series. I'm going to check for hearts here. There's a heart. So Link is no longer tired now that he has grown a 1/3 of a heart. Yellow rupee. Gotta have a whole cutscene for that. 2006 Nintendo, everybody. It's a good game. I like this game. It's one of the first games where I really became passionate about it. Because I got a Wii in 2007 or 8. And obviously I was pretty young back then. And, I played, Wii Sports, Wii Resort, all that. But I think, and I played those, equally, if not more than Twilight Princess. But I feel like Twilight Princess is the first game where I really connected with it and, like, delved into it a lot. Like, me and my old friend Alex, we'd, sit down and play, like, 2 or 3 hours after school of Twilight Princess trying to beat it. And it was, I have fond memories of that. I don't remember a lot of it because it was damn near 7 years ago. Wow. I know I'm not old, obviously, but in perspective, that was a long time ago. So now that we have, I believe, 4 monkeys, I'm back in the outdoor area, and they're going to hoist themselves across the bridge, and now I can cross it. Although I have to factor in lag with my inputs of the let go button. So I go 3 for 3 here, and then I screw it up. So, gotta retry it. After I made it across the bridge, this time it only took one try instead of like 20 with that first jump in the center room. We are introduced to another mini boss, and it's that same monkey that we saw before that broke the bridge. And he's using a boomerang to chuck Deku Baba plants. I forgot the name of those enemies for a second. And I'm well aware that this episode's gonna be kind of dry because it's not live commentary. But I'm trying my best, and I'm cutting the video up a lot. I think the initial recording was close to 38 minutes, and if you look at the runtime of the video you're watching right now, it is not 38 minutes, so I'm trying my best. I covered a lot in this episode, so it makes sense that I had to make the episode so long. Midna's trying to help me here in the middle of a boss fight. I'm ignoring her though because she's super annoying and I know what to do. It's just the roll button is really hard to do, as I've discussed multiple times in this episode and this Let's Play. But eventually I do knock him and he gets hit by his own boomerang. And I have to beat him up in what other place than his own butt. I mean, it's pretty obvious that's his weak point. But Zelda's notorious for having to find the weak point of enemies. I'm excited for Breath of the Wild 2, though. I think it'll be a good game. It's a very different topic than enemy weak points, but I'm just spitballing my thoughts out to you guys at the moment. I liked Breath of the Wild a lot, and I hope that Breath of the Wild 2 is just as good, if not better. Maybe a little more story driven, but also have better temples too, because temples are pretty fun. But I didn't hate the idea of the temples in Breath of the Wild. I think they could definitely do that sort of style again, just as long as it's like 3 or 4 times longer, because those temples were really short. And again, I think the developers, stance on that was that they were trying to make the temples not be the main focus of the game, and you're supposed to adventure and wander into the wilderness, Breath of the Wild. It's in the name. Down to 1 heart here. I think the monkey only has one more hit, and then it'll be down. Got these Deku Babas trying to come after me. My lantern's just getting drained of oil, but it doesn't matter because I finally kill him. He slams his head into the totem pole, and that knocks the parasite off of his head, which I believe is a similar parasite to the ones that we got when we were Wolf Link. The monkey comes to, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" He gets frightened by Link, so he jumps on the poles and goes away. And that's about it for that. But he left behind the weapon he was using. Now it's glowing. I'm gonna pick this up and it just turns into a frickin' tornado. I am the Fairy of the Winds who resides in this boomerang. You have freed me from evil, and I now have my true power back. Please, take it with you. Use it to aid your quests, and may both my power and my blessing go with you. If you focus power in your boomerang before releasing it, it will unleash the power of the wind, aiding you in unforeseen ways. And there she goes. I think it's a pretty cool weapon. Do they call them weapons? Tools. I'm not sure what they call them. Anyways, that's just instructions, so I'm not going to read that. There's Midna's spiel. Ever more important for us to listen to what she has to say. But that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. I'm going to try and figure out when I finish progressing in this in my footage, but that is it for this episode. Thanks. I'm gonna be with you. I love you guys, and if you watch this whole thing, I appreciate it tenfolds. And if you know anybody that's interested in this sort of Let's Play or want to introduce your friends to this channel, feel free to do so, because we're lacking much viewership, but we do have subscribers, so trade-off, I suppose. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and comment down in the comments below your thoughts on the, I don't know. I said early on in the episode different things, but I don't remember what I said. So this lock here is being very difficult, but eventually I do get it open, and that is pretty much it for the footage. I'll see you guys in the next episode, hopefully without having to dub that episode. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to Gavin Knight.